not only is there this token XRP, here's what we, Ripple, can do for you. And the creepy thing that I don't like about Ripple personally is that they're helping governments develop central bank digital currencies, which is evil. But that's part of the pitch that they're doing, right? So that's why it does look like, well, it looks like a certain amount of control being exerted by Ripple over how XRP can even function as a token within what Ripple's really trying to develop for the institutional investor. So the pitch deck really was different for them. And, that made sense to me.
In that intro was U.S. Congressman Warren Davidson, and he is representing Ohio, conflating XRP, the asset, with the company Ripple. He thinks that Ripple controls somehow XRP, and that's just plain ignorant. Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and due to the growing pushback on CBDCs, it's going to be a real challenge for the XRP community, as the average Jane and Joe will conflate the digital asset and ledger with the company Ripple. We can even use this example, which is a letter from Ripple to the Reserve Bank of New Zealand when they explained their CBDC solution. Ripple explains that XRP is independent of Ripple, but it uses the digital asset as an FX foreign exchange bridge. And there's going to be a continued battle ahead, the battle for correct information and understanding. And as I try to see into the future, it's maybe possible that the Hooks sidechain will not have the same battle. And I was curious for comments, which are still coming in on the X, formerly Twitter platform. The irony in all of this, as Matt Hamilton points out, is that the XRP ledger doesn't even have programmability. It doesn't have smart contracts. And what is coming to the Hooks chain isn't even Ripple. It is controlled by a wallet owner. That's XRPL Labs, Wietse Win's team in the Netherlands. It's not the token issuer like Ethereum. What's so absurd is that if you think like Warren Davidson, you would have to believe that the 60 companies that are being tapped for their skills to develop Japan's CBDCs, this was announced in July, are also evil, along with Ethereum. The Enterprise Ethereum Alliance is bragging about how popular they are for CBDCs just a few days ago on their website. Oh, and you can throw Cosmos, which is the token Atom, in there too, with their new Ethereum bridge that's used for the CBDC pilots. I wonder if he sees how ridiculous and misguided his comment was in the Twitter space. He needs to focus on privacy guidelines for the US. He tweeted out today, "Don't become an accomplice to anyone designing, building, testing, developing, or establishing a CBDC. Banning CBDC is essential to America's fintech future." He needs to understand the technology. CBDCs could be more private, decentralized, and less invasive if designed that way. I have no love for our current banking system. The ability to freeze accounts and sell my activity to third parties, no thank you. So why doesn't he become an accomplice to improve our system with technology? He then tweeted out a couple of hours ago that he is working on legislation to criminalize designing, building, testing, developing, or establishing a CBDC. This legislation is just ludicrous. I don't think he understands technology, and he talks like an 8th grader. It's a shame he's not demonstrating his critical thinking skills and working to understand how technology could solve our banking privacy issues. Somebody weighed in on my comment and said, "Do you really want that? Imagine bad actors manipulating a country's CBDC anonymously. Sorry, guys," he puts in quotes, "our economy will crumble because it's too private and decentralized. The whole idea behind a blockchain is and always was 100% traceability, visibility. No, you are wrong. The whole idea of blockchain is in the Bitcoin white paper to eliminate a centralized trusted party. The word trust is mentioned 14 times. I never used the word anonymous. I am pointing to the decentralization so we don't have to trust a centralized entity. And I think the funniest thing of all is when you go to Warren Davidson's X page, he describes himself as a product designer. You gotta be kidding me. The current CBDC designs that I've seen are terrible. It was Panos back in April of this year. He tweeted out this future of money. Yeah, it should be open source, permissionless, and decentralized. It should be a limited supply. It should have a clear monetary policy on blockchain, unconfiscatable, addressing all those privacy concerns in a censorship-resistant environment.
Anything going on? Anything happen? This isn't going to happen again. Just more of the same, Jay.
Well, look, the SEC postponed the decision, but they are seeking public comment. And the landscape for Bitcoin and retail access to Bitcoin has definitely changed. And let's just look at where we are today. When I was SEC chair, was very skeptical of the Bitcoin trading markets. And whether you believe Bitcoin is going to go to whatever or dry up and go away, I think that's no longer the question. You had Russ Benham on. He was talking about it's clearly a commodity. It should be regulated like a commodity. We have large retail participation around the globe, and people want access to it. Now, what do we have? We have very credible financial institutions who have fiduciary duties of best interest to their customers, who are saying, we want to deliver this product, and we can do so consistent with those obligations. Last thing you have is you actually have the futures ETF trading, which we all know is an inefficient product. So my assessment, looking at all of that, is let's get some public comment, and then let's move on and have a spot Bitcoin ETF.
That, of course, was the former chair of the SEC, Jay Clayton, talking about the delay on the Bitcoin spot ETF. And I want to point out this. The Bernstein Research Group, ranked #1 for the last 17 years for their quality, published an August report that projects 10% of Bitcoin's market value will be in a spot ETF when approved. That's pretty incredible. In another report last summer, they had this image of the journey that they outlined where other tokens would come after a rapid succession of many spot Bitcoin ETFs. I'm sure Ethereum and XRP will be in that mix. Looking at the market at the time of this recording, HBAR, which is Hedera, really stands out with a nearly 17% up on the 24-hour. I've been hanging in there with my HBAR, mostly due to the research by King Solomon. And yesterday, he broke some big news. The Federal Reserve has just added HBAR-enabled platform Drop to their list of service providers. Wow. Drop deals in USD, USDC, and, of course, the digital asset HBAR. When you look at the HBAR Foundation Global Governing Council, it just doesn't get any better than this. Nomura, LG, IBM, Google, Dell, DBS, Chainlink, Boeing, Avery, even Tata. If you missed it, you can go to King Solomon's X feed and find the Twitter space where they talked about yesterday the Federal Reserve HBAR integration. This was my video yesterday, and I normally don't get close to 500 comments as I did on this one. And most of those comments were, well, I have to be honest, not well thought out. Or maybe it's my fault with Chris, the CTO of 2Ticks, that we didn't do enough explaining about this project that's going to do an airdrop. I was feeling a little frustrated, and I probably took it out on my Patreons a little bit too much. But let me just briefly share the 5 points, or actually it's 6 points, that I really think you need to know. One, Evernode, they're not scammers. This is a project that was funded by a Ripple grant, and it has its early development days from the Ripple University Blockchain Program, or UBRI. The XRP snapshots, they're going to happen automatically on self-custody wallets, whether you want to or not. But it's the step 2 process, which is optional. And you only need to spend around 4 to 5 XRP to open up that new address and a trust line to receive ownership of your free EVRS or Evers tokens. Now, if you don't want to, that's totally okay. Don't take that optional 2-step process. And in the future, if you want to hold more Evers, you could do so by using that burn to mint mechanism. That is what really received a lot of comments. Again, totally optional. I think it's going to be builders for the most part that choose to do this because they want to spin up a node. And this is for their project on the Hook sidechain. The burn to mint, or B2M, is used to burn real XRP, and then you can mint to the Hook sidechain and get the new XRP. This allows you to buy more EVRS. But I understand if you're not a builder, you're probably not interested in doing this. The XRP holders are also given all their tokens all at once. It's only the node operators that are on this additional long-term distribution. So people were a little mixed up on that. And the Evers token will have a value if it is utilized. So demand would come from usage, and nobody can tell you if that's going to happen. However, the XRPL Labs and the Evernode team are surely going to work towards that. All right, everybody, we're jumping to some fluff. Yeah, very rare for me these days because I've been so busy. It's not because I don't want to do it. It's because I've been really short on time. This is a picture taken today from Shibuya of Tokyo, looking, let me see, this would be looking, I really want to figure this out. Okay, so if I'm in Shibuya and I'm looking towards Shinjuku, I'm looking north. Yeah, so looking north, you see the big park in the middle, that's Yoyogi. And it's a really great part. Shibuya is one of my favorite parts of the city. But there are so many parts that I love. I'm pointing out in this picture the sky. This is a typical summertime typhoon sky. We're on the fringes of a typhoon that is moving towards Tokyo. They don't name the typhoons in Japan, they just number them. And you can see this is number 7 that's approaching Tokyo. This is Tokyo right here. And you can see number 8 out in the Pacific just starting to form. What is happening lately, which never used to be the case, is the typhoons are starting to move up on the backside of Japan and even going as far north as Hokkaido and the islands in between Japan and Russia. The central pressure on this one is 975 hectopascals. It's very strong and it's very large, but it's not the strongest on record. The largest and most intense tropical storm, or cyclone as they sometimes are called, was the one in October 1979 called Typhoon Tip, or Warling. It has a world record where the diameter extended 2,200 kilometers. That's like half the size of the United States. And it had a minimum central pressure of 870 hectopascals. That is a super typhoon. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.